Что вы делаете?
Заходи.
Можно зайти?
Ну, можно.
Our trip through Uzbekistan started in Khiva. We were supposed to stay one night in a hotel, but our night flight messed up my sense of time, and I got the dates wrong. So, we only had one long day to see the whole city. Plans got messy, and that wasn't the only surprise waiting for us. Direct flight Kunya-Ark from Bergamo to Urgench, almost 5 hours, 240 euros one way. The food on board was good. Uzbekistan knows hospitality, even in the air.
Okay, so we made it to Uzbekistan, which is cool. We are at the Urgench airport. It's a tiny little airport, and we've already run into an issue. Like, we've planned so much for this trip, and literally as soon as we get off the plane, we have an issue. So what's the problem?
The problem is because it's a very teeny airport and they don't have exchange from money. So yes.
So you have to have cash here. You can't just use your card. And so we have two problems. One, there's the Yandex app. Yandex, right? Yandex Go is like
Yandex.
Uber.
Yes.
It doesn't work. We don't have any cash. Well, we didn't have any cash, and the Yandex app is not working, which we wanted to use our card with that. So we have to get a taxi. We ended up going to I couldn't film in there, in here. This is basically the terminal where immigrations. Yeah, you can't film in here. So, but there's a guy at a counter with the eSIM and was just like, oh, I'll exchange money. Who knows whether we got a good exchange rate or not, but I doubt we did because we just needed cash. So we exchanged cash with him, and now we're gonna go see if we can negotiate a price with these taxi guys, because there's a bunch of them there waiting, because everybody that got off the plane is in the same situation we're in. So we'll see if we can try to get a decent price. All right, we made it to Khiva from Urgench. Urgench. It took us about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting drive. We had to haggle with the taxi guys. They wanted to charge us quite a bit, but it ended up costing us 200,000 sum,
Yes.
which is about $16.35 as of April 2026. So not too bad, but I think we could have got them lower, but we were like, let's just go. So, but we had to haggle quite a bit. The drive was nice. It wasn't too long. It was about 37 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, and the
40
taxi
minutes.
driver was super nice.
Yes, it's always straight.
Yeah. So now we are in like the old city.
Yeah.
Now we're in the old city, and
Yes, we will go to visit this old city, like fortezza, like with a wall. It's named Ichan-Kala.
Ichan-Kala, which means old fortress or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
All
need to go to buy ticket.
All right, we'll see how much that is. Okay. Okay, so we made it inside Ichan-Kala, and it was 500,000 sum, which is about or 250,000 per person. So that's about $40 to get in. And right now we're in like a little mini museum with this ticket you get to get in. Some stuff you have to pay for, some stuff you get in for free, and this is one that you get in for free. You get a little map.
Yes, it's inside this ticket. All these numbers, she told me you can get in.
So all the stuff on here you can go for free, but there are some things you do have to pay for. So there's like a tower, minaret, that you can go up, and you have to pay extra for that. And then you can walk around on top of the city wall, and you also have to pay for that.
See, extra.
Yeah, but everything else you can do here.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
The first place we visited inside Ichan-Kala was the Muhammad Amin-Khan Madrasah. Today it's a hotel, the one where we were supposed to stay. It was built between 1852 and 1855. the biggest madrasa in Central Asia at the time. 2 floors, 125 rooms around a central courtyard, a library above the entrance. About 260 students lived and studied here. Above the main gate, a quote from the Khan himself. "This perfect building will stand forever for the joy of future generations." And right at the entrance to the madrasa stands a white tower. This is a Kalta minor, short minaret in Uzbek. It was meant to be the tallest minaret in the world, even taller than the Qutb Minar in Delhi. But in 1855, the Khan died in battle on the Persian border, and construction stopped at just 26 meters. And yet, it doesn't look unfinished. It looks massive, powerful, almost overwhelming, covered top to bottom in glass titles. White, turquoise, blue-green, an unfinished project that became the symbol of Khiva. The city met us with a nice surprise, a traditional Khorezm folk performance. Local singers and musicians performed traditional songs to the rhythm of a drum and accordion. But our route took us deeper into Ichan-Kala, to one of the oldest madrasa in the city, the Kutlug, Murad, Inak Madrasah, built between 1804 and 1812. Today the building houses a museum dedicated to the musical and artistic heritage of Khorezm. The collection includes painted portraits of musicians, historical scenes, and delicate lacquer miniatures by the local artist Murad. In the courtyard something caught our eye. An entrance leading underground. It turned out to be a cistern for collecting rainwater, which once supplied drinking water to the people of Ichan-Kala. On the other side of the museum, we stepped into a small, quiet mosque. We kept wandering through the old city without much of a plan, and ended up at the Islam Khodja Minaret. It's fairly new, built in 1908 to 1910, part of the Islam Khodja complex. At 56 meters tall, it's the highest point in Khiva, and you can climb up for sweeping views over the whole city. We didn't have the energy for that, so we saw a green dome far away. We walked closer and found out it was the only mausoleum in Khiva, the mausoleum of Pahlavan Mahmoud. It wasn't part of our main ticket, so we paid extra to go in. And we are glad we did. It was beautiful. So, who was Pahlavan Mahmoud to deserve a mausoleum like this? Born in Khiva in 1247, he was a simple craftsman. He made fur coats and hats. But he was also a famous wrestler, a wise philosopher, and a poet. People call him the Amar Khayyam of Khorezm. After he died, he was buried in the courtyard of his own workshop. Over time, his grave became a place of pilgrimage. In 1810, Muhammad Rahim Khan I turned this simple burial site into a grand memorial complex with a huge dome and made Pahlavan Mahmoud the official patron of the city. The walls from floor to ceiling are covered in white and blue tiles. A master craftsman wove lines from his poetry right into the patterns on the walls and ceiling. Today, the mausoleum is the most sacred place in Ichan-Kala. Local people still come here to pray, especially newlyweds, for a happy family life. By then, it was time for lunch. On the way to the restaurant, we kept hearing the sound of hammering, getting louder as we walked. I couldn't resist and I went to see where it was coming from.
Добрый день. Салам алейкум. А что вы делаете?
Заходи.
Можно зайти?
Ну, можно.
Глянь. Вау.
Садись.
Можно?
Откуда сам?
У меня длинная история. Я родилась в Санкт-Петербурге.
Санкт-Петербург.
Выросла в Москве,
Москва, ага.
а потом переехала в Италию, в Турин. А мой папа родился в Самарканде.
Мед.
Так, а что вы делаете?
Вот такие вещи делаем. Вот это для супа первый.
Для супа?
Второй для чая.
Для чая.
Это третий для воды. Вода.
Окей, ага.
Да. Это кувшин для умывания.
Умываться.
Куда они?
А он из Америки.
Америка. Туристом приехал.
Это мой муж.
А?
Мой муж.
Что? Он Америка.
Да.
Вас как звать?
Khudaybergen.
О,
Да.
еще раз. Еще раз. Хусай.
Khuday. Bergen.
Khudaybergen.
That's how we meet Master Coppersmith, Khudaybergen. We talked for a while, and that look in his face, there was something quiet and deep in it. The blue eyes, the embroidered hat, the way he leaned in a little to hear me better. For lunch, we went to the Harem art restaurant in the courtyard of the Allah Kuli Khan Madrasah. A French-Uzbek couple runs it as a social project. They help local women from nearby villages. The menu is local Khorezm food. Khorezm Plov, lots of lamb, lots of carrots, lots of cumin, heavy and very tasty. Shivit Oshi is green noodles, Khiva's most famous dish. The dough is made with dill juice, which gives it the green color and a fresh smell. It comes with a thick sauce of meat and vegetables, always with sour milk. For dessert, baklava and chak-chak. Baklava is many thin layers of dough with pistachios and walnuts, soaked in honey syrup. Chak-chak is small pieces of fried dough covered in hot honey and sesame seeds, crispy on the outside and soft inside. All of this with green hot tea. We really enjoyed the food, the service, and the whole atmosphere. If you are ever in Khiva, we recommended this place. After lunch, we continued on our way. Next stop, Tosh Hovli Palace. It was built between 1830 and 1838 for Alakuli Khan. The northern part was Harem, the larger section of the palace. 5 tall Ivans face the courtyard, one for each of the Khan's 4 wives, and one for the Khan himself. The walls are covered in tiles, white and blue, with geometric and floral patterns. No 2 panels repeat the same pattern. The wooden ceiling are painted in deep red and gold. Today, the palace halls also house a museum of crafts. Among the huge carved columns, you can see scenes from the life of the Khans. Old carpets, silk robes, and beautiful metalwork made by local craftsmen. At the very end of the road, at the western wall of Ichan-Kala, is the place where it all began. Kunya-Ark, an old fortress, a city within a city. Construction began in 1686, and it was here that Khiva grew up, and here power was in the hands of the rulers for 3 centuries. The fortress contained everything necessary for power: a residence, a court, a mint, a mosque, a harem, an arsenal, stables, and even a prison, all within its walls. The original throne, made in 1816 from carved wood covered in silver, was taken away after the Russian conquest in 1873 and remains outside Uzbekistan today. The one in Khiva is a copy. Today, part of the fortress is a museum dedicated to the Khivan Khanate, the dynasty that ruled this region for nearly 3 centuries.
We're leaving the old city and we're headed to the Khiva train station. And it's about a 30-minute walk from this area to the train station. And they have little carts, they're like golf carts that will take you. We decided to walk because everything here so far has been like a negotiation. You kind of have to like haggle a little bit, and we're tired. We don't feel like haggling. We don't know what the exact price is, but the only tough part is we haven't really like slept in a bed in over 24 hours because our flight left at almost 1 in the morning, and we tried to sleep on the plane, but it was not comfortable at all. So we got here about 9 o'clock. So in Italian time, it was like 5 in the morning. So we didn't really sleep, and I guess a tiny bit of jet lag, and then we've been walking all day. Some of that travel adrenaline has worn off. So a 30-minute walk seems like a lot. But the nice thing, and then the funny thing is that same thing, we're gonna travel on this train for 6 hours from Khiva to Bukhara, which is our next destination. And so yeah, no sleeping last night in a bed and no sleeping tonight because we'll be sleeping on the train. Fortunately, there's a bed on the train. So, but the train station is supposed to be pretty nice. So we'll see when we get there. Something else I wanted to mention while we're on our way to the station is we have our bags, and we've had our bags with us the entire time we've been here. I mean, we've only been here for like 6 or 7 hours, but we still have our bags, but we didn't have to carry our luggage with us. Our backpacks, yes, but not our luggage. And there's a couple of options if you do get here. If you come to, at least if you come to Khiva or Urgench, which is where we flew in. There's a couple of options that we were considering. One is having the taxi take us to the train station, dropping off our bags, and then coming to this old city center. But because we were supposed to go to this hotel that we messed up the dates, we talked to the people on the phone, and even though it's a relatively big hotel, they were very accommodating, and we asked if we could leave the bags with them, and they said yes. But they didn't give us a price or anything, but we basically just had the taxi driver bring us all the way to the old city here, which saved us a trip. And we left them with the hotel, even though we weren't staying at the hotel. And when we went to pick them up, they didn't charge us. So we still decided to tip them or give them a little bit of money, a few dollars, just to say thank you. A few dollars goes a long way here. As you can see by our meal, I had a whole meal. The plov was just over $4. So a couple bucks goes a long way here. But the other option was to drop our stuff off at the train station. But of course that would have added to our trip. And of course, if you're also coming here to the train station, the only thing we didn't know about the train station was whether they just put your luggage in a room or you actually get a locker. And we weren't super keen on that, so we preferred the hotel, and it worked out. You know, we were really surprised. They didn't ask us for anything, and we just decided to give them something. So just some options for your baggage if you end up not having a hotel or you're in a situation like we had. So this is our train. This is my bed, and this is Elena's bed. And apparently we have roommates. I don't know why I wasn't thinking this. I have never been on a sleeper train before, so I don't know what I was expecting.
Yes, because when I said we have a bed.
Yeah, I got excited. I thought we had like a queen water bed,
okay.
You know, and a 2,000 square foot room. You know, I don't know what I was thinking. No, but I definitely wasn't thinking a tiny bunk bed that belongs in a submarine, but it's a little bit exciting. The only thing is it was a bit of a nightmare because we were all happy because we got here an hour early. We got through security, no problem. And so we're just chilling and relaxing, thinking, okay, this is not the airport. And I was like, okay, I need some coffee. I'm tired. We still haven't really slept. So we get coffee, and then this did not come in these cups. These were from the plane. Mm-hmm. And the bottoms, it was so hot, the bottoms of our cups were like super
melting.
Yeah, they were starting to melt, but we were like, okay, whatever. But then while you were looking for something to like just stir our coffee, she realized that our train was boarding because it's like, I don't know, maybe they have to get people on here early. I don't really know. So then we're trying to hurry up and get through and get our things while we have these super burning hot coffees and all of our baggage. And we finally get past the scanning thing, and then I'm like, I want to record the train on the outside, so I stopped to try and pull my thing out, and then we have people here now.
Yes?
You guys down here? Are you
Yes,
29?
yes, because
Okay.
this is up.
Anyways, while we were trying to hurry up and get on the train, the whole bottom of my lid, so like the bottom of this lid, or the, not lid, the whole bottom of my cup just fell out all over the ground, all over my bag. Fortunately, it didn't get all over my pants. And it was like burning hot, and I was like, I'm just trying to get on this train. And so now we're on the train, and it's like, what?
Oh, we need
It's like
it already.
It's 27 degrees? What's 27 degrees? That's like 85 degrees, I don't know, 90 degrees. I don't know, it's hot.
Sauna, sauna,
yeah,
yes.
it's so hot on this
yes,
train.
there are no air conditioner because I think because
the
it's,
train's not-
yes,
Yeah, the train's not moving, and then our roommate just came in, as you saw, but this has been an experience. I'm actually a little bit excited, but 6 hours on this tiny little submarine bunk. I thought I had a totally different idea in mind. Is there somewhere else we can go? Like, and not be in our rooms? Is there like a lounge, or is there like a pool that we can swim in, or
probably here is
game room? You can play basketball.
restaurant, but I want to sleep. I don't want to go.
Like a Five Guys or something?
There was no Five Guys car on the train. I went to talk to the conductor. He said we could buy food in Bukhara, but we were hungry right now. A little later, he called me and silently handed his oven food. A boiled egg, a piece of flat bread, some cookies, wafer, a pear. Then he brought hot tea to our compartment. He didn't explain anything, didn't ask for anything. He just shared his food with strangers who happened to be hungry. Thank you, Arif. We arrived in Bukhara just before 1 in the morning. A transfer driver was waiting at the station with a sign. Bukhara doesn't have its own train station. The train arrives in the neighboring city of Kogan, another 25 minutes by car. One day in Khiva, 6 hours. Not nearly enough, of course, but it was what we had. And it was enough for Khiva to find its place in our memory. As for what we missed, that would be our coin thrown into the fountain. So we will come back